So, I've been playing Genshin Impact for about, say, a bit over a year now. And over the time that I've been playing it, I've gotten a bit of a psychological understanding about the game. And although there are some parts of the game that I honestly don't understand, like why you're able to pick a customizable name for an uncustomizable character, even the sword isn't even customizable, he's still using a dull blade, or some other storyline things I'll get to in a bit. So without further ado, let's just start this thing. So, if I'm gonna be talking about the story, I'm gonna be getting a little bit opinion-based and biased, but if I'm gonna have to give a rating, I'm gonna give it its good at times. Also, if you're not kind of up to date with the story, I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown. So you and a twin, you guys are able to travel from world to world. So you stop at the world of Teyvat, and then after you decide that you want to leave, you can't leave. You get bodied by this other person, and then after you two get separated for about 500 years, if I'm correct. This leaves you, the player, having to travel around the world of Teyvat in search of your missing sibling. So, by the time of recording this, you've already searched 3 nations, Mondstadt, Liyue Harbor, and Inazuma, but all have come up to no avail. In all 3 of these nations, you have stopped a dragon from terrorizing a city, stopped an ancient god from destroying a city, and stopped a civil war in a whole nation. So, yeah. Your next move is to go to Sumeru after this point, which means that you've gone to 4 of the 7 nations into that. All with no avail of finding where your lost sibling is. Now with some of the problems that I actually have with this storyline, in between the acts of Liyue and Inazuma, you actually find your sister, but only for a brief moment. She's working with an enemy force called the Abyss Order, so she basically tells you to finish up with your journey and I'll see you at the end, then immediately leaves. But after this, you kind of just brush it off like it's nothing and continue the rest of the storyline as just like normal. Alright, here's the stuff that you're really for. Here's the real meat and bones of this whole video. The gameplay. So, as I said before, most of the gameplay while playing the story quest is 95% dialogue. So then after, you're stuck looking at a screen, looking at all these high-pitched squeaky voices, while making sure that no one's looking in through your window trying to catch you lacking.
Teyvat's Mora is minted, right? Or better yet, take a nap on top of a mountain of Mora! You were just playing us to get close to the Exuvia!
Shut the fuck up!
Each character's moveset is one of the 7 elements. Wind, nature, fire, water, ice, stone, and
Hang yourself.
And these can rank from stuff that probably every single person will want to stuff that hasn't even been introduced yet. When these elements interact with each other, just like a field science experiment, it usually goes. But really after that, there's not really much stuff that separates the gameplay from Genshin Impact from the gameplay from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's the type of gameplay that when you're starting with it, it's really fun, but once you get to like 2 weeks into or a week into it, it gets boring and repetitive. But now, since we're done talking with gameplay, we're going to be talking about the money drainer of Genshin Impact, the wish system. And the wish system in itself is a whole different topic, which I'm basically going to be covering right now. So, the wish section is separated into 3 different categories: the standard banner, the weapons banner, and the limited time character banner. If you don't know how the whole thing works, I'm going to just give you a very brief rundown. So there are 3 different types of rarities: 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star. You can get a 4-star every 10 rolls that you put, and every 90 rolls that you put, you get a guaranteed 5-star. You can pull once or 10 times. Each pull, if you're doing it singular, each singular pull is 150 primo gems. And I don't know how much you need for the 10 pull. And if you're going on the limited time character banner, you have a 1 in 2 chance of getting the legendary character that you actually want. But if you fail the 1 in 2 chance, you get it the next time you pull it's going to be a guaranteed character on the banner. Meanwhile, on the weapons banner, it's not really the exact same, treatment. Mainly because you have to fail twice on getting the weapon that you want to actually get the weapon that you want. So, say for example, there's a sword and a spear, right? You want to get the sword. So you roll about 90 times, because that's mainly when everyone gets a 5-star, unless you're like really lucky. And then you get a spear. Well, because that there's this little thing on the bottom that, tracks how many times you failed, and then it's picked on the sword, so that's equal to 1. But then after, there's no pity system. There's no guarantee. So it's mainly like more like a 2 in 4 chance. And then you roll again, you get enough primo gems, you roll again and again, and then after that you get a spear again. Then you can just go to the little thing in the bottom, I don't know what it's called, it's something about a path, but you go there, and then you just click on the one that you picked on, the sword, and you get the sword for free. Now let's talk about the grinding part of this game. Well, it's no surprise to anyone that you have to grind in this game to actually get farther up. But the grinding in this game that you have to do so monstrously high that I don't even know how people do it without paying up. Like, either you found the most supreme way of grinding in this game, or you just have to pay up. Simple. So, the way people grind is through daily commissions. These daily commissions give you 250 experience, and every time you level up, you actually have to go to the Adventurers Guild outpost thing that they have in each city, and then after you have to claim the reward that you get on there, then you're fully leveled up from the next level. Every say 10 to 20 levels you have to do World Ascension, which basically makes every single enemy in your world harder, but in exchange for that, you get better loot out of them, which is needed if you want to continue leveling up your characters. This can get very boring and tedious at times, mainly because you can only do 4 at a time, and then after there's something called resin that you can use, and this is the stuff that you can use to get, stuff in domains. Domains are places where you can get artifacts which are used to upgrade your characters. So if you want to get more resin, you have to get more primo gems, you have to get more primo gems, you have to grind. And if you don't want to grind, you have to pay up. This could be really boring up to a point where you don't even want to play the game anymore. Unless you have friends that play it with you, you better either get some new friends or be ready to spend the whole game solo. Especially when each update takes 1 to 6 months to actually come out. I mean, after the Archon quest, there's not really much stuff you can actually do other than the Spiral Abyss. If you're not gonna do the Spiral Abyss, you're just gonna be doing the same things over and over and over again, which can get really boring within a week. In all seriousness, this is one of the few games that I can enjoy at times. With other people, it can be actually really funny to play, or just use random people for no reason and do massive bosses. But at the end of the day, it's just something that you want to play. Hey, you. Check out the video on screen. And before you do that, subscribe to the channel. That's an order, I'm not asking. Anyways, till next time.